All right, here we go. Welcome into the show. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now, live here on Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic Tuesday, and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making Philadelphia Eagles Now a part of your day. It's game week. The Birds taking on the New England Patriots on Sunday in Foxborough. They're going to look to spoil Tom Brady coming back to New England to get honored after he officially retired, and we'll be doing a watch party for that game. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications, and join us because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to discuss all of the latest Eagles news, rumors, and analysis on the program today, and it's a loaded show on the docket. We're so happy that you're here with us. As for what we're getting into, we're going to do an Eagles-Patriots preview. We're going to go over all of the latest Philadelphia Eagles injury news. They are relatively healthy going into week one. We'll do a segment in which we look at every single starter on both sides of the ball for the Eagles, and I will also do an Eagles schedule prediction and a bonus segment also coming up. We're going to take a look at some free agent targets that Philadelphia could sign at some point if an injury were to happen at a marquee position. First, though, a lot of people are getting that notification. They're starting to pile into the show, and we want to hear from you. Give you some shout-outs here for being some earlier real ones. Where are you watching from? We're coming to you from the Chat Sports Studios, but where are you? Lamont Lancaster, Cool Rains, Twisted Death, Chucky Shoe, LaTerrence Perry, Big Sarge, #ish Joel, Xavier, and Ernesto. They're all hanging out here with us. Now the locations are starting to pile in. Xavier is in York, Tucson from Ernesto, Abilene, Texas from Devon Curry, Miami from I Am Polo John saying, "Go Birds!" Keith, Kent, Ohio, Chucky Shoe, your bro from the 570. My guy, how you doing? East St. Louis, used to work in Springfield, Illinois, familiar with that territory. LA, also watching from South Carolina. Fargo, North Dakota, Petersburg, Virginia, West Philadelphia, born and raised from Lamont. Happy Cheese Day from Xavier. South Jersey from MML, North Carolina, Chino, California, an Eli Rick supporter. That one coming in from Henry Padilla. Anthony Connell, Go Birds from the 540. Fly Eagles Fly from Delaware from Matthew Rosenthal. Cool Rains, we know where he is. In Australia. It's my birthday on Thursday, USA time. I wish the Eagles were playing the first game for me. They are playing the first game for you, Cool Rains. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Now we have 120 people already watching live, and we just started the show about 2-3 minutes ago. As you pile in here, support the show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. And if you have your notifications on, you saw the show that we did a little bit earlier today in which we took a look at an ESPN article, really well done by Tim McManus, and he provided insight as to the Eagles' thought process going into the draft, their interviews with Jalen Carter, some of the concerns that they had about drafting him, but what transpired for the organization to be comfortable with taking Carter and moving up to draft him at number 9. Check that video out, of course, after our live show. It was a really interesting look at the whole pre-draft process and what Carter's been able to bring to the table. Of course, I offered my thoughts on this prospect because I do think that he can become a very, very good player. And when you talk about Jalen Carter, he's going to be making his NFL debut against New England on Sunday. What makes him unique, that power, quickness, size blend. He's really big, but he's also agile, and he's got some bend to him. And he's got explosiveness where he could get by offensive linemen in a blink, but the power to kind of overcome some of those double teams that have been thrown his way in the preseason or at Georgia. I also really like his positional versatility along the defensive line. He can play every spot up front, and that allows you to see consistent snaps because you can fulfill multiple positions and you can win battles against centers, guards, and tackles. Great bend for his build, and I think that's really impressive considering how big he is. I was cracking up the other week when Darius Slay said that he's like a baby rhino with how he's built, but Darius Slay even said, I played with some really good defensive tackles. Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave and Ndamukong Suh, Haloti Ngata, Jalen Carter is that dude. He's already demanding double teams and joint practices as well as in the preseason. I also really like his polished pass rush moves as well. So that's what makes Jalen Carter unique. We talked about that in our segment a little bit earlier. And as we look ahead, programming alert. Week 1 watch party against the New England Patriots going down live right here on the show. Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern. A little bit of a shorter pregame show, but we'll be live then. We'll give you a little bit of a pregame show, and then once that game goes down, live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat giveaways, and hopefully we will be reacting to a Philadelphia Eagles victory in Week 1 to push the Birds to 1-0. So with that game coming up just around the corner, who you got? PHI for the Eagles, NE for the New England Patriots. Get those game predictions in right now. And another reminder, continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video here. Mike O'Neill, 704 Charlotte, North Carolina. Mike, I have to say, I was in Charlotte over the weekend. Had a blast, man. That is a great city. I was there for the first time. Had to check out UNC South Carolina. It was awesome. Lamont going Philadelphia. Kane Angel going Philadelphia. Hector Figueroa going Philadelphia. Ryan Rowe likes the Birds, so too does Anthony James, Lauren Rhodes, and Samuel giving me a go Birds. Today's show would not be possible if it wasn't for Game Time. If you're looking to get tickets to a sporting event, a comedy show, a concert, the only app that you should be using where you can find great seats for affordable prices with an interface that's easy to use is Game Time. Download the app, and when you do that, you get $20 off if you use the code EaglesChat. Once again, $20 off if you use the code EaglesChat. There are so many ticket apps out there that have outrageous prices, but with Game Time, lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. It's a great app to use as you get closer to the game. And when I was in Charlotte looking for UNC South Carolina tickets, we hopped on the Game Time app, and we were able to get some really good seats, about 40-yard line, 200 level. It was awesome, and if you use that promo code EaglesChat, you get to save money. Eagles tickets also available. You look at the Birds Week 2 matchup, Thursday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. Look at how interactive the app is here. You can see where you'll be sitting with the price point, but also you take a look at the stadium from a bird's eye view, but also this picture is really awesome as well, where you can look at the stadium and pick where you want to sit, but also the price point for where you do sit. And then, of course, for all these Eagles matchups, you get single season tickets, you get game-by-game tickets. I promise you, the Game Time app is where it's at. I'm going to put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. It's Game Time. You don't want to miss out. We appreciate them for making the show possible. Game Time. Eagles Chat is the promo code for $20 off your first purchase. That link is officially in the chat right now. And once again, our live show would not be possible if it wasn't for Game Time. And show some love to our sponsor. This is the first time that they're appearing on the program. We want to make them happy because they're making our content awesome, and it continues to be free. And it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So type GT down in the chat for Game Time to welcome them on board for the first time here on Eagles Now. Type GT in the chat. Kane Angel, Ernesto, type it GT. Cool Rains, you're being a real one. Chucky Shoe, GT. Chuck, Ryan, Lamont, Samuel, Keith, Earth, all typing that GT. Bird Gang Tommy V, what up? Phil's, 3 Sharp, I am Polo John, Carlos. And do me a favor also, all you have to do is just hit that link and you'll see for yourself. Support the show by doing that. So my keys to the game against the New England Patriots as we inch closer and closer to our official live show starting. 156 people watching live, 56 likes. Continue to smash that thumbs up icon and like the video. Nick Sirianni didn't play his starters at all throughout the preseason. So will the Eagles be rusty in this game? I do have some new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator concerns because this is going to be the first time that Brian Johnson is calling plays at the NFL level outside of the preseason. And Sean Desai has 1 year of experience of being a defensive coordinator, and you're going up against the seasoned Bill Belichick. The pass rush for Philadelphia, they should be able to eat. Riley Reiff, going to be out for New England. He went on IR. Haason Reddick, going to be healthy. Nolan Smith, going to be playing. At least that's the expectation. This is an Eagles defensive line that had 70 sacks last year, ladies and gentlemen, and that Patriots offensive line is not all that good. This pass rush should be able to get after Mac Jones. Bill Belichick has also struggled throughout his entire career against mobile quarterbacks, whether it be Lamar Jackson or somebody else. Justin Fields thrashed that defense a year ago. So will those struggles continue against Jalen Hurts, a mobile quarterback? I'm also interested to see if defenses and New England, with a whole offseason to prepare for this offense, and Jalen Hurts will adjust to the man who finished runner-up in MVP voting last year. Those are my keys to the game. We'll expand on that, obviously, with our full-blown preview. Birds, New England. That will be our first segment to start everything off. We also want to hear from you all throughout the afternoon and early evening, depending on where you're watching. Use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to literally ask us anything all throughout the show. That is hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to ask us anything. We have 4 segments cooked up for you all today. Our final segment will be a mailbag. So I just want to chop it up with everybody out there, show off that football intellect, and get your questions and your takes and your analysis on the show here. If you want to be so kind and donate to the program, we do have a Super Chat menu. We have Chip back. I'm Chase. Let's have some fun. Anytime somebody sends in a $5 Super Chat, F the Pat shots. We have blue shots to drink that New England blood. If you send in a $5 Super Chat, $10 will give you an EAGLES chant. If you send in a $20 Super Chat, that's a chip or chug. $50, beer bong or a shotgun. And if anybody out there sends in a $100 donation, like Flippin' the Bird did last week, he went crazy, you become a member of the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. That's the exclusive club that we started in the preseason. Anybody all throughout this year who sends in $100 or more for a single solo Super Chat, you enter the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. Where the real ones at? If you're ready to start the show, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We have 180 people watching live, 67 likes. Can we get to 100 likes before we start the show? And if we get there, then we're going to start the show. There is so much to get to on the docket for today, but if you're ready to get things going, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video right now and show me that you're ready to roll by being a real one. We're up to 190 people watching live. The more likes that we get, the more people who pile in here. We're up to 74 likes.
Let's go.
We're on the road to 100 likes. Continue to like that video, and we'll get things popping here live on Philadelphia Eagles Now. It's officially a game week. You got to be pumped up for game week. So if you're pumped up, like the video here, up to 84 likes. Let me bring in producer Chip. The man from Bucks County has been killing the game here at Chat Sports. You think about this week 1 matchup, Chip. Got to be excited for the season to get underway. And there's just that feeling in the air. There's that smell in the air that fall is right around the corner. Football is officially here, and it's Go Birds time.
I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited. We've been waiting so long for this moment, and it's finally here.
Let's
Week
go. 1,
Birds are back, baby. Let's go.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! So we're at
one.
90 likes, 10 more to get to 100. Where are the real ones at? We're up to 91 likes. Got to get to 100 before we start the show. And once we get this show popping, it'll be the best Eagles content that you find right here on YouTube. 8 likes away from 100. Come on now. Who's going to be the person to get us over the top? Show some love to the show. 5 likes away from 100. Do it for Donovan. We're 3 likes away. Do it for Nolan Smith. We're 2 likes
Let's
away.
go.
Do it for David Akers.
There it is.
We got past 100 likes, and now the official show is about to get underway. If anybody sends in a super chat during our segment, we'll of course answer those super chats after we break down this Eagles-Patriots preview. You ready to get it going? Eagles-Patriots preview, let's start off with that. And the official show for Philadelphia Eagles now begins right now. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, it's game week, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphia Eagles hitting the road for week 1 against the New England Patriots. So we're going to preview this game. First, though, we will be doing a watch party for this matchup. Tom Brady comes back to Foxborough, going to get honored by the Patriots. What better way to spoil it than it being the Philadelphia Eagles, who took down New England back in that 2017 Super Bowl in Super Bowl 52. Our live coverage begins on Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern, about a half hour before kickoff. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. Kickoff is set for this Week 1 game as Philadelphia will take on the Patriots, looking to get back to the Super Bowl, but this season win it in Las Vegas at 4:25 p.m. Eastern, 1:25 p.m. for those of you on the West Coast. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will be on the call. So Philadelphia getting the primetime CBS crew in that afternoon slot. The Birds are 4-point favorites with the over-under set as of right now at 45 even. We shift gears to the Philadelphia Eagles injury report. Because Philadelphia didn't play any of their starters throughout the preseason, they are relatively healthy going into this Week 1 matchup. Haason Reddick does expect to play, had to undergo thumb surgery a couple of weeks ago. Nolan Smith, after missing 5 practices, did return to practice last week. He expects to make his NFL debut on Sunday. That shoulder injury kept him out for a little while. Quez Watkins still dealing with that hamstring ailment, but hopefully the Eagles wide receiver 3 is going to be able to give it a go because everybody's been raving about what he did all throughout the offseason. And Moro Ojomo, the 7th-round pick, defensive tackle out of Texas, did suffer a concussion in that preseason finale. It was an ugly showing as far as injuries go in that preseason roundup. Moro Ojomo has cleared concussion protocol, has not been cleared to return to the practice field as of this recording on Tuesday. With that, get those game predictions in. Who are you going with Week 1 in this season opener? I'm going with the Birds. I'm typing PHI. If you disagree with me, type NE for the New England Patriots. When you look at these Week 1 odds, as I alluded to, Philadelphia is 4-point favorites in this game. The over-under is at 45. So not necessarily a low-scoring game, but the scoreboard isn't going to get lit up. I think Philadelphia wins like 24-20. I think it's going to be a little bit of a difficult matchup. Weird things often happen in Week 1, just like last year, as Philadelphia nearly lost to the Detroit Lions in a game that went down to the wire. 24-20 is my final score. Eagles get that record off to a solid start at 1-0. For those of you looking to bet on this game, we have some chat stats that we want to pass along. Jalen Hurts is 3-9 against the spread as a road favorite in his career, but he is 9-3 straight up as a road favorite as well, and he's won 8 straight up games. The Eagles were 7-0 straight up against the number as a road favorite last year. So we've given you the spread, and now you look at those against the spread and straight up numbers. Hopefully that helps you win some money this upcoming weekend. Keys to the game for me. Are the Philadelphia Eagles going to be rusty? Last year, Nick Sirianni did play his starters very briefly in the preseason. But because Philadelphia made that deep run in the playoffs, they made it to the Super Bowl, they went about their health in a different manner this preseason. No starters played. So how long is it going to take, if any time at all, to knock off the cobwebs? I think the Philadelphia Eagles might be a little bit rusty to begin this matchup, but once they find that groove, like they did oftentimes last year, they were very difficult to stop. Key number 2. You have a new offensive play caller in Brian Johnson. It's the same offense, but new wrinkles in this offense with a new coordinator. And he's never called plays at the NFL level before outside of the preseason, in which I thought he did a pretty solid job. Sean Desai is a new defensive coordinator. He has 1 year of play calling experience. That happened in the last year of that Matt Nagy regime in Chicago. He's a relatively new coordinator. His defense is going to be new, a little bit more aggressive as compared to how Jonathan Gannon called the defense. So you pair these 2 points together, new elements of the offensive system, some changes in the defensive scheme with 2 new coordinators. Are the Eagles going to get off to a slow start to make things a little bit ugly? That's why I think this game could be somewhat close, and that's why I think it's going to be about a 24-20 game. The Eagles' pass rush, though, they should be able to eat. Riley Reiff, their offensive tackle, he just went on IR on Monday. Haason Reddick is going to play. This is an Eagles defense that did lose Javon Hargrave in his double-digit sack season last year, but they still had 70 sacks as a team a year ago. And this Patriots offensive line is a weak link for that team. This Eagles pass rush should be able to take over this game. When you think about Bill Belichick and his career against mobile quarterbacks, whether it be Lamar Jackson numerous times, or Justin Fields last year when Fields torched New England on the road, Bill Belichick has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. So is Jalen Hurts going to be able to have his number as well? And this is really an overarching point throughout all of 2023. Something that I will continue to be monitoring with the whole offseason to watch the Eagles' offensive tendencies, the play calling, the system, to scout Jalen Hurts. Will the Patriots adjust to Jalen? And will other teams across the NFL adjust to Jalen? And if that's the case, it's up to Hurts to counter-adjust to those defensive adjustments. Those are some of my keys to the game, but the good news is we're only getting started with our preview. Make sure you subscribe to the show if you like this content. We do this every single day. Daily shows on the Birds for those of you who are coming across the show for the first time. My name is Chase Sr., grew up in Westchester right outside of Philadelphia, went to Temple University. This is my squad, producer Chip, grew up in Bucks County. So you're getting that real Eagles talk, and we will not disappoint you with our coverage. More with this preview coming up around the corner. First, though, want to welcome Game Time on board as a brand new sponsor here at Chat Sports. I'm really excited to have them here. If you're looking for last-minute tickets to an Eagles game, sporting events, college football, Major League Baseball, NBA, if you're a music goer like myself, or you're looking to go to a comedy show, because I like those as well, the only app that you should be using is Game Time. And the good news is, if you use the code EaglesChat at checkout, you get $20 off your purchase. Let me tell you more about Game Time, because I really like the interface. As you can see on your screen, it's very user-friendly. You can kind of filter by teams. For instance, you search Philadelphia Eagles, all of their games come up, whether it be road game or home game at Lincoln Financial Field. You can also choose where you're sitting and get a view from that particular seat. And they're not going to screw you like some of these other ticket apps where you have that obstructed view. You go to this next photo, and you can actually see at Lincoln Financial Field your vantage point for where you buy your tickets. You also have a bird's eye view where you can look down at Lincoln Financial Field or any other stadium, and you can look at the different price points depending on what your budget is. And when you use the code EaglesChat, redeem that code, you get $20 off your purchase. It's a fantastic app. A lot of ticket apps out there hit you with some of these outrageous fees. If you're looking for last-minute tickets in particular, the deals on Game Time are unbeatable. Once again, promo code EaglesChat. Download the Game Time app. We'll put all of that information as far as the link and that promo code in the description and in the comment section of this video. We continue to move forward with our preview here. Another key for me, stop the run with Ramondre Stevenson and make Mac Jones throw. The Patriots last year finished 25th in the NFL in running success rate and 21st in yards per carry. So if you stop the run, you then put the ball in the hands of Mac Jones, and last year he struggled. He actually regressed from his rookie campaign. The Patriots lost a solid wide receiver in Jacoby Myers. He was their number one a year ago, and they signed a guy who we all hate, Juju Smith-Schuster. Hopefully James Bradberry can lock him up. The Patriots will have a new look offense and a new play caller who's a familiar face for New England, former assistant for Bill Belichick, Bill O'Brien. going back to the Patriots after spending a couple of years with Nick Saban. He was the OC for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and I do think that he's going to be able to help out Mac Jones a little bit. All of the chatter out of the Boston area in the preseason is that the Patriots offense looked a little bit better with Bill O'Brien calling the plays as compared to Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, and whatever the hell the Patriots were doing last year. Mac Jones a year ago in 2022, he completed below league average as far as his completion percentage at 65 even. He threw for less than 3,000 yards, played 14 games. When he did not play, was replaced by Bailey Zappi. Only 14 touchdowns, 11 picks. But what point did I make a little bit earlier here on the show? The Philadelphia Eagles can win this battle in the trenches with their defensive line and getting after Mac Jones. He was sacked last year 34 times. And the Patriots up front, they haven't gotten that much better going into 2023. Mac Jones in 2022, even more numbers here. He ended the season 29 out of 33 qualifying passers in expected points added per dropback and 29th in success rate. Expected points added, also known as EPA, is basically the war version for football. So the translation, Mac Jones wasn't really good when he had to chuck the pill. Another underlying storyline going into this game is the fact that New England and their fans, they'll be bringing the noise, and they'll be pumped up for this game, kind of looking to get revenge on Philadelphia for besting New England in Super Bowl 52 back in 2017, the 2018 calendar year, because the Patriots will be honoring Tom Brady in this game. And it's pretty unique that Philadelphia actually still has a couple of players who were on that Super Bowl roster. It includes Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett. Of course, Barnett was the one who picked up the fumble, and Brandon Graham was the one who forced it against Tom Brady. Kind of a pretty cool scenario for those players to return to Foxborough, still playing while Tom Brady is getting honored as he retires. My take for this game, the Philadelphia Eagles, no question, are the far superior team, but the Patriots will be feisty. When you think about betting history in week one, odd, wonky things can often happen, but you know that Bill Belichick is going to have his team ready to play. He's going to have the Pats prepared for what Philadelphia can throw their way. In Philadelphia, they do have some interesting elements and interesting storylines going into this week one game with some personnel changes, both on the roster as well as the coaching staff. I want to see the Birds lean on their dogs in this matchup. I'm not just talking about the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm talking about their offensive dogs, because New England's defense and their offense cannot keep up with what Philadelphia has to offer, especially on the offensive side of the rock, but really top to bottom on both of these rosters. The Eagles clearly have the edge. And the Eagles have an opportunity here to have a very versatile approach, to be multifaceted, to keep the Patriots on their heels, and to adjust on the fly to whatever New England tries to throw their way as far as coverage and the look of that defense. Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, like this is an Eagles team that should be able to routinely average 30 points per more all throughout this 2023 campaign. What I'll also be watching in this game for the Eagles, how much will Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith play? If Jalen Carter plays a little bit more than Nolan Smith, won't surprise me at all. Doesn't have to do, in my eyes, with Nolan Smith's shoulder injury. It just has to do with how good Jalen Carter can be. Nick Sirianni on Tuesday did not reveal who the starting safety was going to be, opposite of Reed Blankenship. So that's a little bit of a relative unknown for the Eagles going into this game. And I'm interested to see who starts alongside Blankenship. Terrell Edmonds, Justin Evans. The upset pick would be Sidney Brown. How do the off-ball linebackers fare? Nakobe Dean, it's your opportunity. You're wearing the green dot. You're the starter for this team. You made that really good play in the preseason against Cleveland in which you sniffed out the run and forced the fumble on the goal line. I want to see that translate to when the real games matter. And then I expect Zach Cunningham to start alongside Nakobe Dean at inside linebacker. Will Jalen Hurts this year still run often? I know that Nick Sirianni has said we're paying him to not do less. But I want to see Jalen Hurts play a full season, because if he goes down, I have not much faith in Marcus Mariota that he can win a lot of games in far stretches for a team that once again has Super Bowl aspirations. And I want to see Jalen be safe. Run when you have to. Don't just run trying to make something out of nothing, and don't force the issue. And when you can get down or get out of bounds, do that, because we don't want to see you hurt. We want to see that continued progression. And then lastly, who's going to be the punter? We still don't know. Philadelphia, as of Tuesday, they only have Aaron Siposs on the practice squad. They have not signed an actual punter outside of Siposs to the P squad, and they have not signed a punter to the active roster. So they're clearly looking for a punter upgrade. We also do not know who the returner is going to be for the Eagles, and the special teams unit did cost this team in Super Bowl 57 against Kansas City. So with that, we asked you earlier to predict who would win this game. Now, I want to see if you're a genie, look into your crystal ball. Predict the score between Philadelphia and New England here, and don't forget to join our watch party on Sunday. Hop on board. It's going to get litty here on the stream, and you don't want to miss it. Appreciate your support. It's Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks for hanging out. All right, for those of you just hopping on board our live show, that is segment number 1 out of 4 this afternoon, and we're only getting started. Do not go anywhere because there's plenty to get to. No super chats yet. Who's going to be the first one to send in a super chat? Here's our super chat menu today. If you want to send in a tip, anybody who sends in $5, F the Pats shots. $10 will give you the Eagles chant. 20 for a producer chip chug. 50, I'll do a beer bong or shotgun, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. And if anybody out there sends in a $100 donation, you enter the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. We also will be doing a mailbag as part of one of our segments. Let's open up the floor. Let's hear from all of you. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to be a part of the mailbag. Get those questions in right now so that we can go through them and so that we can involve you in our content. Coming up next on the show, you're going to have an opportunity to get to know the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to take a look at every single starter for this team. Make sure you continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you're enjoying what you're seeing today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And segment number 2 is getting underway right now. All right, welcome into the show. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. I am Chase Sr. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. As for what we're talking about on the program, you're going to have an opportunity to get to know the 2023 Eagles better, because we're going to look at all of the Eagles starters going into the 2023 campaign. We start off at the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts, every year that he's been in the NFL, all 3 years, he's gotten better and better and better. Can he take that leap into year 4 after he signed that massive contract extension this past offseason? What he did in 2022 was so impressive. The ball was in his hands so much. He had to do so much in throwing the ball and running it, yet he continued to flourish as the season progressed, and he capped it off with a really impressive performance in Super Bowl 57 against Kansas City. I know the fumble cost the Eagles, but outside of that, tight window throws, touch and accuracy at all 3 levels of the field. When he had to make plays with his legs, he did that, and he led a couple of really impressive scoring drives for Philadelphia. And I've said this a couple of times. What impressed me the most about Jalen Hurts' play in 2022, it's not the numbers. It's how often the Eagles leaned on him to run their offense and how few times he turned the football over. He chucked it 460 times in the regular season. He ran it 165 more times. That is a lot of touches, yet he only threw 6 interceptions and lost 2 forced fumbles. So that is 8 giveaways for Jalen Hurts. If he can continue to keep the ball out of harm's way, the sky is the limit for this Eagles offense once again in 2023 as he enters year 4. If you're pumped up for week 1, that should be everybody watching right now. I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Real football is back, and the Birds return to play. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. And speaking of week 1, we'll be back for our watch party schedule. Join us on Sunday. Our pregame show starts about a half hour before kickoff, 4 o'clock Eastern. Eagles, Patriots, right here on Eagles Now. Live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat giveaways. You don't want to miss it. So we go from quarterback and Jalen Hurts to running back. And I know I said at the start of the show, we're going to talk about all of the starters for Philadelphia on the program today. We're not sure who the starting running back is going to be. And I think Philadelphia is going to go running back by committee here. If Kenneth Gainwell starts the game, won't surprise me. If DeAndre Swift starts the game, that won't surprise me. I think it comes down to one of those two players, with Rashad Penny and Boston Scott being the backups. I've continued to say this. I really like the makeup, the versatility, and the blend of styles for all of these running backs on your screen. To the wide receiver group, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown last year formed one of the most lethal wide receiver duos in the National Football League. And if they're healthy this year, they're both still young. They have another year to work on that camaraderie with Jalen Hurts, and I think that they can put up stupid digits once again like they did a year ago. The Eagles' wide receiver depth chart, it's a little bit top-heavy. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You can make the argument right now they are two of the top 10 wide receivers in the game. A.J. definitely is already there. Devontae Smith, if he's not a top 10 guy, he's on the cusp of becoming that. Quez Watkins, big year for him, obviously. The vertical threat who could take the top off of the defense. And I think a lot of people are going to be impressed by Olamide Zaccheaus as a returner, but also as a wide receiver who has a little bit of wiggle. This Eagles wide receiving room, they put up historic production last year. A.J. Brown broke the record for the most receiving yards in a single season in Eagles franchise history. 88 catches, almost 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. What a debut season it was for him. And then Devontae Smith broke the record for the most catches for a wide receiver in franchise history. A great campaign for him, 95 grabs, almost 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Who's to say those numbers for those two can't get better? And then if Quez Watkins can improve, look out. With that, let's tee up this question. Who has more receiving yards in 2023? Will it be Devontae Smith, type his jersey number 6? Will it be A.J. Brown, type his jersey number 11? Tight end. Dallas Goedert continues to be very underrated in my book. And I've continued to stay by this, that I think that Dallas Goedert is the second best all-around tight end in the NFL. When I say all-around tight end, I have to simplify this because people thought that I said he's better than Travis Kelce. Not the case. Travis Kelce is a receiving tight end. He lines up in the slot. He does not block. Dallas Goedert, George Kittle, they block and they catch passes. So as far as all-around tight ends go, Dallas Goedert, number 2 in the league, in my opinion, behind George Kittle. And I think this year, he finally has that season in which he's really, really productive and could surpass 1,000 yards receiving. Because he's been close to breaking out each of the last 4 years. Yes, he's missed a little bit of time with injury. 5 games last year, 5 games in 2020. But even though he missed 5 games a year ago, he still tallied 55 catches, 702 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I hope that Philadelphia uses him as more of a red zone threat this year. Because if they do, I think that he gives you another element inside the 20 around the goal line. Obviously, he's physical. He can be a jump ball guy, but it's just another option when the field gets more condensed. And if he can get 702 yards in 12 games, if he plays a full season, who's to say that he can't surpass 1,000? In the trenches on the offensive side of the football, Philadelphia, still very good. And this is one of those position groups that Howie Roseman really covets in building his team. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, all starters from last year. Cam Jurgens does replace Isaac Seumalo. Some question marks there. I also kind of like the backups along this Eagles offensive line as well. If they stay healthy, once again, they'll be in the running for one of the best offensive lines in the game. You look at week 1 odds for the Eagles going up against New England, Philadelphia, -4. If you think the Eagles are going to win via a blowout, smash that number right now. The over-under at 45. I'm going to stay away from that over-under. But if that number gets down to 3.5, I'm going Philadelphia Eagles all the way because I think they win 24-20 week 1. If you want to bet on this game, no better place to do it than with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head to chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Promo code Eagles125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Now we pivot to the defensive side of the football. Philadelphia, very deep along the defensive line in the trenches, just like they are on the offensive line in the trenches. Now, Philadelphia's not going to have a five-man front, but they are going to have an iteration and some versatile options under Sean Desai, the new defensive coordinator. So that's why there are 5 players here on your screen. They're going to run some 3-4. They're going to run some 4-3, but there will be some five-man fronts when you move Haason Reddick to the line of scrimmage to be that outside edge. So Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat. I think you might see Davis and Carter kind of replace each other a little bit as far as the substitution pattern goes. Maybe you take out Fletcher Cox, you put in Milton Williams, but Philadelphia, as far as the entire defensive line goes, very, very deep. And you could throw in Haason Reddick along the defensive line, or you could call him an outside linebacker. Whatever you do, you can consider him as one of the best pure pass rushers in the game. He's the only player in NFL history to have double-digit sacks 3 consecutive seasons with 3 different teams. No better season than what he did last year in his career since getting drafted by Arizona in the first round out of Temple University. Fittingly enough, when that draft was in Philadelphia by the Art Museum. 16 sacks for Reddick last year, 26 quarterback hits, 68 pressures, and what a deal it was for the Eagles to get him on that contract of $15 million per year. So Reddick, with that linebacking core of Zach Cunningham, who I think is going to start alongside Nakobe Dean. Great opportunity for Nakobe Dean this year to prove that he was worthy of that draft selection. A little bit undersized, but does have those instinctual elements to his game where he can really be a special player and sniff plays out before they happen. To cornerback here. Darius Slade, James Bradbury still forming one of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. They were some of the highest graded cornerbacks according to Pro Football Focus last year. Shout out to one of our loyal subscribers, Dennis Designs. He does not like Avonte Maddox, but I think he's more than serviceable in the slot. I also like what Philadelphia and Howie Roseman and this front office and coaching staff are doing as far as building and looking ahead at the future at this cornerback position, because Slay and Bradbury still playing at a really high level. They're also getting a little bit older, and Philadelphia knows that. That's why they thought about moving off of both of those players. But to have Josh Jobe, Keely Ringo, Mario Goodrich, and Eli Ricks, all young backups, you fortify the depth and you get younger at that position group as well. And then we round out at safety. Just for some context, we're recording this on Tuesday. Nick Sirianni did not reveal on Tuesday who was going to start next to Reed Blankenship at strong safety. We know that Blankenship will start. I think that he can have a really solid season this year. Will it be Terrell Edmonds? Will it be Sidney Brown? Will it be Justin Evans? We will see come week 1 in Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. If you enjoy what we do here on Eagles Now, that means that you're a real one. And if you're a real one, get loud in the chat and let us know you're a real one by giving us a real one roll call right now. Thanks for the support. Make sure you subscribe to the show for daily videos on the birds. 2 segments down. We're going to continue to keep it moving here live on Eagles Now. A couple of Super Chat donations did come in as we were breaking everything down there. I did see that we had a $20 Super Chat come in from Lion Fighter. Anytime somebody sends in a 20, Patriot shots. So we're going to take those right now. Some blue Patriot shots. Sup, fam, Lion Fighter said. Go Birds! I'm under the weather. Wish me luck, fam. LFX, feel better, my guy. Thank you for supporting the show. Lamont Lancaster with the $5 Super Chat. Any news on trading for Cordero Patterson? We did talk about that on a video that went out over the weekend. I think that's more of like a trade deadline deal for Philadelphia if anything happens on that front. With the season set to be here in just a couple of days, I think the Eagles are going to really examine who can contribute on special teams as a return man. And if they're not content, if they're not satisfied with the current returner on this roster, they might look to make an external move. I also think the Atlanta Falcons want to see if they can compete. And if they can't compete, maybe get back some draft capital, send them to a playoff caliber team, which we hope Philadelphia is going to be. Our Super Chat menu. So Chipper has to chug, and then $5 came in from Lamont. and that's an F the Pat shout. That's the one that I took. Chipper will chug for that $20. If you send in 10, we'll give you an Eagles chant. If anybody out there wants to be a big baller, send in a 50. I'll do a beer bong or a shotgun. Whatever you want me to do, that's what I'll do because we can't be scared on these YouTube streets. And if anybody out there wants to send in a $100 super chat, we have a few members of the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. We started this week one of the preseason. And it's really the elite club of super chatters. So anybody who sends in a $100 or more super chat, you enter the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. We're going to keep tallies of all of those super chat MVPs all throughout this season. And we, of course, appreciate that support. 2 more segments left to get to. What we're going to do next, talk about some potential free agent targets that the Eagles could sign at some point down the road. Chipper is back. He got his beer. He's going to owe LFX a little bit of a chipper chug. And everybody type chug down below in the chat. Lion Fighter said, chug, chipper, chug, chipper, chug, chipper, chug, chipper. He didn't go Bud Light. He went Coors Light.
No, Coors Light. Who said I'm going Bud Light?
The mountains are blue. Nobody. I was just joking around. Rick Boyle tuned in from Venice. Eric Mate saying chug. L.I. saying chug. Kane Angel, chug time. Let's go.
Let's do it, baby! Go Birds!
Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles. Chipper chug. Chipper chug. Chipper chug. The man from Bucks County making it happen. Cheer him up. He went to Clemson. And Clemson last night, they got dump trucked by Duke.
We don't need to talk about that, though.
Awful showing for Dabo's boys.
Oh, my God.
It was ugly. It was ugly. All right, we're going to move on to segment number 3 today. A couple of free agent targets that the Eagles could pick up at some point down the road if injuries happen at a couple of different positions on this Eagles roster. So we'll get to that next up. Shout out to Brandon Peck, Christopher Rivera, L.A., Noah Bridges, Kane Angel, Cooter Blue, Eric Mate, and Rick Boyle. Those are the recent commenters. Let's take a look at these Eagles free agent targets. We know that going into 2023, the Philadelphia Eagles roster is absolutely loaded, but we also know that a lot of injuries happen throughout the course of an NFL season. So on today's show, going to take a look at some Eagles free agent targets that Philadelphia could bring in if injuries were to happen. These are marquee names who are still out there on the free agency market who have not signed with the team. Before we take a look at that list, make sure you join us on Sunday for our Philadelphia Eagles versus New England Patriots watch party. Our coverage starts with about a half-hour pregame show, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Subscribe, but also turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we go live, you'll get that push notification. Eagles free agent target number 1. Let's just say that an injury happens at wide receiver and the Eagles lose an A.J. Brown or a Devontae Smith. If that's the case, they're a little bit top-heavy at that wide receiving unit. Jarvis Landry is still out there. And, of course, I love the Eagles' 1-2 punch of Brown and Smith, and they've been durable players so far in their respective careers to a certain degree, especially with Devontae Smith, mostly with A.J. Brown. But one of those guys goes down, and then you're looking at Quez Watkins, Olamide Zaccheaus getting significant snaps, and the Eagles on their opening 53-man roster only kept 4 wide receivers. So they're already a little bit thin there. Jarvis Landry can get the job done in this offense operating out of the slot. And you look at his production from 2018 to 2021. Really good years here. In 2018, 81 grabs, 976 yards. In 2019, more than 1,100 receiving yards. In 2020, 72 catches for 840 yards. And then in 2021, he was banged up. He was injured, 52 catches for 570. And then last year, barely played at all. It was supposed to be an exciting year for Jarvis Landry. He went to LSU. It was supposed to be a homecoming, going to the New Orleans Saints. He was hurt all throughout the season. Only played in 9 games. Bad quarterback play for sure, but only 25 catches, 272 yards, less than 11 yards per catch to go along with only 1 touchdown. So that's wide receiver. How about linebacker? We know that the Eagles are a little bit thin at off-ball linebacker, And they only kept 3 off-ball linebackers on the opening 53 with Nakobe Dean, Zach Cunningham, and Christian Ellis. Anthony Barr still wants to play. He's visited with multiple teams throughout the offseason. He just never came to a deal. Anthony Barr also has versatility to his game. Last played with the Dallas Cowboys, couple of excellent years with the Minnesota Vikings, and his snaps by alignment last year, he played in the box 470 snaps. He was only an edge rusher 90 times. I do think that he could be better suited as a stand-up edge rusher, but throughout his career and last year wasn't really utilized as such. You look at what he's done over the last 4 years. For Dallas last year, still played in 14 games, 58 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and a pass breakup. Couple of years before that with Minnesota, very productive player outside of 2020, which obviously got cut short. 2 games played because of injury. His last really, really good year, 2019, 79 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, and 4 pass breakups. Still a pretty solid athlete, maybe a midseason veteran pickup for Philadelphia or another team out there. And the point here is that the Eagles, a little bit thin at off-ball linebacker. With stand-up edge rushers, I think they're really set with Haason Reddick, Nolan Smith, and Patrick Johnson. But again, only 3 off-ball linebackers, Zach Cunningham, Christian Ellis, and Nakobe Dean on this 53-man roster. Barr also has a lot of pedigree, and he's had a lot of success. 4-time Pro Bowler, all of those Pro Bowls coming with Minnesota, also has a lot of experience under his belt too. He has started 108 games over 9 years in his NFL career. He's clearly on the back 9. If we're making a golf course reference, he's probably on hole like 16, 17, maybe even walking to 18. But we saw the Eagles bring in Robert Quinn and Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph last year. Anthony Barr would kind of be along that line. What's the biggest Eagles weakness? That is today's poll question. Show off that roster knowledge and let us know down in the chat what the Eagles' biggest weakness is and explain that down below in the comment section. More free agent targets for the Philadelphia Eagles to get to on the other side, but first, today's Eagles Now is sponsored by Game Time. Last-minute tickets. If you're looking for them, there's only one app to use. That is Game Time. Great user interface, very easy to use. You can save money on these last-minute tickets, and prices drop as the event gets closer, and they give you the lowest price guaranteed. So many of these ticket apps will charge you out the wazoo, but Game Time, really good deals. And we have a great deal for the Bird Gang. $20 off your purchase, regardless of what event you go to, by using the code EaglesChat. And I talk about the app being easy to use. You just enter EaglesChat, redeem code, you get that $20 off. And if you're looking to go to an Eagles game, a music event, a concert, a comedy show, there are all those types of events on the Game Time app. For instance, Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings. That's the Eagles home opener, week 2 on Thursday Night Football. This is what you'll be looking at when you pull up the app. And what I love, you can see what seat it is, what row it is, but the vantage point from that seat and also the price point as well. What's also cool is that you can get the bird's eye view of the stadium. For instance, this is Lincoln Financial Field, Vikings, Eagles, and you can see where you want to sit, but also the different prices for that seat. So download the Game Time app. The link is available down below in the comment section, as well as in the description of this video. There are tickets for Eagles road games and home games, and when you enter the promo code EaglesChat, you get to save $20 off. This is the app that I use. I was in Charlotte this past weekend watching UNC South Carolina. Had to get a last-minute ticket. I did it with Game Time, and it was very, very seamless. Andrew Norwell, another player who we want to talk about on today's show, and this is an offensive lineman who started 16 games last year for the Washington Commanders, still without a team. And this is another player, like Landry, like Anthony Barr, who has a lot of experience under his belt in his NFL career. 127 career starts, 16 starts last year with Washington. I will say the Commanders' offensive line was dog shit in 2022. He's 31 years old, and he did struggle a little bit Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 59.8. But the Eagles have the best offensive line coach in the NFL. They have a system that caters to the offensive line. And if an injury happens, Norwell can slide in there. And you know at the very least, he's going to be an experienced player. I like the makeup of this Eagles offensive line. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson. But Cam Jurgens is unproven at guard because he's never played there. He's a traditional center. And Landon Dickerson, he's been banged up a lot throughout his NFL career. You get hurt on that interior, Andrew Norwell, he could fill in and play for you. Bryan Edwards, this is a player that I'm kind of lukewarm on. He had a really good season for the Las Vegas Raiders a couple of years ago. He goes to the New Orleans Saints, didn't even crack that 53-man roster. I thought he flashed back in 2021 with the Raiders. That was by far and away the best season of his career. But after that, hasn't really been able to do much since then, and that's really been the mirage for him when he had 34 catches for 571 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was the last year when John Gruden was the coach, and then Rich Bisaccia ended up filling in for Gruden after he was fired. Good size, though. 6'3", 212. So if the Eagles want that jump ball wide receiver with some solid size, Bryan Edwards could fulfill that role. Cut by the Saints this offseason, did not make their official opening day roster. So you be the general manager here. Name a free agent that you want the Birds to sign. It can be a player on this list or a player not on this list. As always, we appreciate you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for daily content on the Birds. All right, we're really moving through these segments. That's 3 down, and we have 1 more to go. As part of that last segment, we're going to take a look at the Eagles' schedule. I'm going to give you my schedule prediction, but also we're going to take your questions. So if you want your questions answered, hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. Get those questions in right now, or those hot takes and those comments. Whatever you want to say, use hashtag Eagles to get on the show. Or if you want to skip the line to get your questions answered first, you can send us in a Super Chat as well. One more time, hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. And if you send us in a Super Chat donation, we're down to clown here on the show. And we'll do a little Eagles Now happy hour at the end of the show if you want to have some fun. Anytime you send in a 5, F the Pat shots. We have some blue liquor here. F the Pats. We'll drink that Patriots blood. You send in 10, we'll give you an Eagles chant. $20, Chipper already had to chug a little bit earlier. I'm kind of thirsty. Anybody sends in a 50, I'll do a beer bong or a shotgun. And if anybody sends in $100, you become an exclusive member here on the Eagles Now family and a member of the Birds Nest Hall of Fame. So we'll round out the show with our final segment. I don't see a lot of real ones giving us a hashtag Eagles in the chat. If you have a question that you want me to answer, literally use hashtag Eagles and ask me whatever. I want to see y'all show off that football intellect. If you have a hot take, if you have a prediction, I'm also going to be taking a look at the Eagles' schedule and giving you my prediction. If you have a schedule prediction, hashtag Eagles for all of you to be a part of the show for thousands of people to see what you say. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get those questions on air. CG used the hashtag Go Birds, not the hashtag Eagles. But again, I want to hear from you. Hashtag Eagles to be a part of the show here. Lion Fighter, great work using hashtag Eagles. Who else? Who else is bringing the heat with hashtag Eagles here? That's cool. We can use the Super Chats as well. And I'm going to go over the schedule anyway. So, Bird Gang Tommy, using Bird Gang. Callie Green, hashtag Eagles. Add Melvin Ingram as a rotational player. Okay. Lion Fighter with the big prediction this year. Hurts throws for 4K. I love it. Again, predictions, hot takes, questions, whatever you got, just use hashtag Eagles. There are so many comments that come in throughout the show. It makes producer Chipper's job a little bit easier if he's able to filter through all of those. Keith Pope, hashtag Eagles. Ace, hashtag Eagles. Good stuff. Continue to get those in. and we'll break down this Eagles schedule. I will offer my Eagles schedule prediction, and then if y'all want us to hang out, we'll do a little Eagles Now happy hour on the other side. Erica Jones, hashtag Eagles. We should be good there, Chip. All right, awesome. So our last and final segment, and then if you want us to hang out, we'll hang out for a little Eagles Now happy hour. Let's get it popping. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, my final Eagles record prediction prior to the 2023 season getting underway. We'll also take your questions as well, and we're going to go through this Eagles schedule game by game to see what's on the docket for the defending NFC champions. First, though, watch parties. They return for regular season action on Sunday because it's Patriots week, and you think about what Patriots week means. This is the second time that the Eagles will take on the Pats since taking down New England in Super Bowl 52 during that magical 2017 season. So many memories from that season, including Nick Foles holding up the only Lombardi trophy in the history of this franchise. Let's hope that the Eagles take down the Patriots once again, and let's hope that on our watch party, we can dissect an Eagles victory. We'll be going live, and our stream will get popping 4 o'clock Eastern on Sunday, 1 o'clock for those of you out on the West Coast. Do not miss our Eagles versus Patriots watch party coming up on Sunday as the regular season is finally here. Without further ado, let's break down this Eagles schedule here in 2023. And we're going to segment this off by like 4 or 5 game stretches. And you look at this first 4 game stretch for Philadelphia here. I don't think there's any excuse for the Eagles to not go 4-0 to start the season. They're the better team than any team here, and it's a very winnable first month of the season. They should beat the New England Patriots, and I think they will. 24-20 is my final score. Short week against the Minnesota Vikings. Lincoln Financial Field is going to be on fire. Eagles fans, by the time kickoff comes around, will have been tailgating at the K-Lot and all around South Philadelphia all day long. Kirk Cousins doesn't stand a chance coming into Philadelphia to get a win on primetime. Then you go on the road against the Bucs, Monday Night Football. If this game were later in the season and you have to deal with the weather change from winter in Philadelphia to the humidity down in Florida, could be a concern. But the Eagles have been practicing in the heat and humidity in the Northeast for several weeks now. And the Buccaneers are not a good team. They have some good offensive weapons, but Baker Mayfield's their starting quarterback, really? And then you play the Commanders at home week 4 as you return to Philadelphia. 4-0. No excuses for the Eagles here. I don't want to hear that there's been a Super Bowl hangover. And then you look at the next 4 games for the Eagles here. Week 5, cross-country trip against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams could be tanking this year. They really could. They've gutted that roster. They could be without Cooper Kupp. They let go of Bobby Wagner. They traded away Jalen Ramsey. There was chatter of them trying to move off of Aaron Donald. I think they're going to be bad. That's another win. And then the schedule starts to get a little bit difficult here. You go up I-95, MetLife Stadium to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Difficult game. Week 7, Dolphins come to town. I think they're going to be a formidable opponent, especially with that offense. Week 8, you go on the road to take on the Commanders. This is where things start to get really interesting for Philadelphia here. You have Week 9 against the Cowboys. Week 10 is your bye. Week 11 on the road against the Chiefs. That is the first time this year that the Eagles will be underdogs. Or no, the second time actually. Against the Cowboys, I believe they're underdogs, and against the Chiefs, they are underdogs. But this stretch of Cowboys, who with Dak Prescott, they do play the Eagles well. Bye week, Chiefs, Bills, NFC Championship rematch, and then you flip Week 14 on the road against the Cowboys. In Seattle, always a difficult game to play, and I think that roster is really good outside of quarterback. And then you finish off with the Giants 2 times the final 3 weeks. You should boat race Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals, but that's a difficult stretch there, kind of from like Week 8 until Week 18. Now, the thing that's working in the Eagles' favor is that they have a very good roster. They're probably the most talented team in the NFL, not just with their starters, but they have depth as well. But when you stack a couple of really difficult games on top of one another, that's when things can get a little bit hairy. My final record prediction for the Eagles here. They won 14 games last year. To duplicate that success, it's very hard to do. But I do think the Eagles duplicate their success in the division. I think they become the first back-to-back winner in the NFC East for the first time since 2004. It's crazy how much parity there's been in this division. But the Eagles finished 12-5. They win the NFC East. I think that this year is going to be difficult for a lot of teams in the NFC where you don't have like a 15, 14, 13 win team, or at least multiple of them, because I still think at 12-5, the Eagles are a top 2 seed in the NFC. So that's my record prediction for Philadelphia. What is your Eagles record prediction? Let me know down in the chat. It's your last opportunity to get it official in the comment section, pen to paper, so to speak, before the season begins. Let me know down below. Now let's take your questions here. Ace, will Jalen Carter get 10-plus sacks and do what seems to be impossible for rookies? So if Jalen Carter, as a rookie, were to have 10 sacks at defensive tackle, he'd basically give you what Javon Hargrave gave you last year. And Javon Hargrave had 11 sacks last year. That would be a great rookie season. And he would definitely be Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it. I don't think he gets 10. I think 5, 6, maybe even up to 8 is that range that I'm looking for Jalen Carter. And still, even that is a really good debut season in the NFL. LA, our guy, do you think the Birds could realistically go undefeated going into the bye week leading up to the Super Bowl Kansas City rematch? They could, and I kind of voiced some of the concerns that I have for the Eagles going into that matchup, Super Bowl against KC. You know, that Jets game is going to be difficult. Miami, Dallas. It's certainly possible with how talented they are, but in a league that has so much turnover year over year and a lot of parity, it's just really difficult to have that sustainable success as far as just being dominant, like dominant. We'll see, though, LA. Appreciate that. Erica Jones, how do you feel about us playing our first 2 games 4 days in between each other? It's not ideal, but the good thing is, and I think Philadelphia looked ahead at this, they didn't play the starters in the preseason for a reason. And I think there are 2. So reasons, plural, not singular, right? I think that they played so deep into the year last year, and they were healthy. First 2 years under Nick Sirianni, they've been top 5 in injury rate, so they've been a healthy team. But they played so deep in those extra games by playing in the Super Bowl. I also think that the Eagles looked ahead at the early portion of the schedule, where they play week 1 on the road against New England, and then they have to turn around, come back home. It's not a long trip to Foxborough. It's very easy, in fact. Very easy and short flight. But anytime you have 2 games within Sunday to Thursday, and that being the stretch, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. So if it were at the midway point of the year, I would hate it. I'd rather it be at the start of the year, and I think that's why Nick Sirianni did not play the starters in the preseason, because he was looking at that. They want to have this team fresh with that tight stretch there. Callie Green, add Melvin Ingram as a rotational player. Yeah, he's still out there. Like the Jadeveon Clowney of the world. You know, he went to the Baltimore Ravens. He had Justin Houston, signed with the Carolina Panthers. Melvin Ingram is kind of in that type of veteran stratosphere, but for him, not with the team. And I think that he's aged a little bit faster as compared to a Justin Houston, who last year with Baltimore actually had some really good sack production. Lion Fighter, the Eagles will go undefeated in the NFC East. I would love for that to happen because I hate the Patriots, I hate the New York Giants, and I hate the Washington Commanders, and that would allow the Eagles to repeat as division winners. I think they split with Dallas. Can they pull off another sweep of the Giants? That could be difficult to do. They should sweep the Commanders, but last year they lost to the Commanders. So I'm not going to say they go 6-0 against the division, but I do like 4-2, somewhere in that range, just because of the familiarity that these teams have. Lamont Lancaster, Jalen Carter wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. As I said a little bit earlier, Like if he has that 10-sack number this year as a rookie, book him as Defensive Player of the Year. Even if he contributes for a team that wins a lot of games, if that happens this year, and I expect that, of course, to be the case, if he's a steady contributor as a rookie, he can win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He is the odds-on favorite, by the way, to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ace with another one. Sign Julio Jones and get him to a Super Bowl. If an injury happens at wide receiver, Julio Jones could be one of those guys who you bring in for a veteran who has been injured a lot over the last couple of years. All right, that does it for our mailbag and my schedule prediction here on the show. Week 1 is going to be here before we know it. I cannot wait for it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss our Eagles-Patriots watch party coming up on Sunday. It's youtube.com/Eagles now. Even easier for you. Just hit that subscribe button down below. Always love chopping it up with all of our loyal subscribers. It's great for you to be a part of the show just as much as I am as the host here of the program. All right, who wants to help support the show? Who wants to hang out? Who wants to contribute to our Eagles Now happy hour? I love what Bird Gang Tommy V said. I've been waiting for it. It's drinking time.
We've been waiting too.
We've been waiting too. So who wants to hang out and have a couple of drinks? Here's our super chat menu. You send in 5, F the Patriots shots, $10 EAG LES champ, $20 a chipper chug, $50 for a beer bong or shotgun, $100 gets you to be a member of the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame.
I'm feeling thirsty. Every 20, so just so we know what the chipper chug is going to be, I'm chugging half the beer
there
for
we go.
20. So I chugged half this beer so far with 120 coming in. Come on, I need to get a few down here. It's almost game day. Football's back, so get those rolling in here.
Let's put the pressure on the people here. We're going to go 2-minute super chat shot clock. If you want us to have an Eagles Now happy hour and you want the show to continue, you got to send in a super chat. If we get a super chat, we reset the clock and we stay live. If we don't get a super chat, we cut off the stream, and then we'll see you for Sunday's watch party. It's up to y'all. It's up to y'all. 30 seconds into the shot clock here nearly.
Who's going to do it? Y'all going to make it happen.
Who's going to extend the show? Ryan Rowe. And in the meantime, during the Super Chat shot clock, feel free to get any questions into the chat. Ryan Rowe, Jalen Carter will have the most amount of sacks with Nolan Smith. And defensively, they tear it up. Ryan Rowe, I like that. I can't wait to see Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith on the field. Erica, for sure, if we stay healthy, we're definitely going back to the Super Bowl. They really have been looking ahead and thinking long term. Let's run it back. Run it back. Run it back. Need to see it. Elaine, that's what I picked too, 12-5. Xavier said 17-1 for the Eagles. Bergang Tommy V said 13-4. All right, we're at 120 and ticking on our Super Chat shot clock. Is anybody going to extend the show?
Tick, 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 tick,
tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick. Chris Berman, legend. Any other record predictions? Lamont said Eagles 12-5.
That's probably what I would go with too.
12-5.
Schedule 12-5.
I just think it's reasonable.
13. Yeah,
I think it's the most reasonable. All right, 15 seconds left.
Uh-oh.
We'll give you about a 20-second delay once we get to 2 minutes. Is anybody going to extend the show? 2 minutes, official. Now we give you about a 20-second delay because a lot of people are watching on delay. Is anybody going to extend the show? It's up to y'all. It's up to y'all. Byron Nails is in the building saying, "Sup, everyone." Byron watches our live shows. He watches our regular videos. I saw him commenting on a YouTube short. That's a real one right there. Just watching our content, regardless of the platform or where it is. All right.
Wow.
That does it. That does it. No super chats came in to extend the program. Get those super chats in the chamber for Sunday's watch party. We'll have some super chat giveaways. We'll have a lot of fun. I'm not sure if our Patriots channel will also be going live, but of course we always want to have a super chat competition if we can. We'll be competing with some other streams for sure, because some other streams will be live here at Chat Sports. And the last time we did a watch party, remember Dream Green? He went crazy on the stream. Maybe we can go crazy once again. All right. Thanks to everybody for tuning into the show today. Next time we'll be live, barring any breaking news happening. Will be Sunday for our watch party. Everything's going to get underway about 4 o'clock Eastern, a half hour before kickoff. So subscribe, turn on those notifications, and in the days leading up to the matchup, we have you covered with Eagles content every single day, and sometimes multiple shows per day, because you got to be built different. For Chip, I'm Chase. For the Bird Gang here at Chat Sports, what do you know? Prayer Man, 2009. At the buzzer. With the $5 super chat, keeping us live here. He said, what's up, everyone? Fly, Eagles, fly all the way to the Super Bowl, because you're a real one who sent in a super chat there. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! All right, so Prayer Man technically kept us live. Dennis Designs with the 10. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! If we get to $100 in super chats, I'll shotgun a beer, even if it's without a $50 super chat. We're up to $40 just like that after Dennis Designs comes in with the 10. And just because I want to, well, we actually owe it for Prayer Man, but we're going to take another Patriot shot here. Our blue liquor, Patriot shot. We're drinking the Patriots' blood going into week 1 out of the Eagles shot glass here. It's a mini shot glass, but still an Eagles shot glass. Dennis Designs, you're a winner. All right, let's do this. We'll reset the Super Chat shot clock then to 2 minutes. We'll reset it to 2 minutes here. Johnny Gallagher tuned in from Lansdale. Appreciate you for watching the show. Thanks for being here.
Anybody in here planning to make the trip, going to the Week 1 game in Foxborough?
Yeah, let us know. Anybody going to Foxborough? Use the Game Time app if you're going to go. Game Time app is where it's at. 2 minute Super Chat shot clock. We're up to 40. If we get to 100, even without the 50, I'll still shotgun a beer. Jason tuned in from Wilmington, Delaware. I grew up in Westchester, not far from the Delaware border there. Prayer Man said, that's right, Eagles will win the Super Bowl. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. If that ends up being the case, it's going to be a nutty live stream.
That's for sure.
That is for sure. 1 minute left on the Super Chat shot clock. Bird Gang Tommy, wife and I will be at the Monday night game in Tampa. Awesome, wow. Bird Gang Tommy. Make sure you use the Game Time app if you haven't gotten your tickets yet. And use our code CHAT20. Link is in the chat there, or Eagles chat, excuse me, for $20 off. 1:30, time's a ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Great live show today, by the way. 4 segments, a lot of really good content, few thousand people. Byron Nails, reset the clock.
There he is.
Byron. I love this. Patriots suck.
Yeah.
F the Pats in the chat. F the Pats in the chat.
Spam it up.
F the Pats. Shout out Byron.
Ace saying F the Pats.
Dennis! Dennis Designs. Dennis Designs. Dennis Designs.
And you know what, Dennis? Since you sent 2 10s, I'm going to count that as a 20 for you. And I'm going to finish my beer for you, Dennis.
Dennis Designs.
Let's go, baby. Go Birds!
Chip, chug, chip, chug, chip, chug, chip, chug.
Woo!
Resetting the clock once again. Dennis Designs keeping it popping. We're up to 55 in supers. We're 150 away. 150 away from getting to 100. We get there. I'm shotgunning a beer. If we get to 100.
And I'll throw in a beer bong.
Let's go.
Let's go,
Chipper,
baby.
beer bong, and a shotgun from yours truly. If we get to 100, we're at 55. Is somebody lurking out there, like, thinking about the 50 and then taking it away and then putting it in there? Yo, Asa said, Chipper, baby. Where's our guy Reed, man? Reed's not here today.
Yeah, he must be actually doing his job.
He's busy
right
working,
now.
huh?
Yeah, usually he'll tune in at work, but maybe he's actually doing his job.
We're 1 minute into the clock. Pass along any questions in the chat. We'll continue to stay live if those supers keep coming in. And in the meantime, we'll take some of your questions here. Dennis Designs. Him and Lion Fighter, both with 20 today. Our Super Chat MVPs. Everybody have a good Labor Day weekend? I hope so. I hope so.
Back. How could you not?
Football is back, man. Football is back. It's been back. Football carries me through the school year, Ace. Football carries us through life, Ace. Think about it. You get, with the Super Bowl, 18-week regular season, and then 5 more weeks with the break in between the championship game and the Super Bowl. So 23 weeks? Let's go. 2-minute clock, winding down. And we're all good with signing off. You don't need to send in a super chat. That's the 2-minute shot clock expiring. So now, we're going to sign off here. Thanks to everybody for tuning into the show. Sandra saying, go Eagles. Callie loves you. That's the Bird Gang worldwide. You dig? So once again, thanks for the support today. Hopefully, those of you who haven't subscribed, do so. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. 4 segments, great Eagles talk, a lot of fun chopping it up with everybody. Hope you all have a great night, and we'll catch you on Sunday for our Week 1 watch party against the Patriots. Peace!